Hello, everybody, and welcome to Command Point. Today, we were given a little Christmas gift by Games Workshop on December 23rd, the night before the night, so to speak, and they've given us a little data slate, and I've got it here, and I'm excited for this. I hope you're excited for this, and I hope it's good for the game. I think they've done pretty well in these data slates, generally speaking. Although there's maybe some things that need to get reeled back, and we'll find out. But yeah, I'm a little bit under the weather today, so apologies for if I sound a little bit raspy or whatever. But I've got my coffee. It's horrible weather outside. It's very snowy and Christmassy and windy. But yeah, no, we're just going to take a look at the new data slate. So to start, the new updates are identified by an asterisk. So in case you were wondering what's new, we'll start here because there's an asterisk. So new core rule. The movement characteristic cannot be modified to less than 2 circle even if injured. So this is really big for slow teams. Honestly, it's kind of like I think they're mainly looking at higher tech circle with this, but also Death Guard. Not that Death Guard can be injured, but if you're playing against like the Corsair Psyker that can slow you down and make you like super slow, you don't have to worry about that anymore, which is really nice. It's not going to impact a lot of stuff, but I think the few things it does impact are going to be, relatively significant. So let's move down. So, what do we got? Nothing in Compendium. Chelnath. Ooh, Pathfinders. Operative selection must take 1 less operative. Okay, so if you're taking the Recon drone, you get 11. And if you're not taking the Recon drone, you get 12. I mean, I think this is a good change. Honestly, it was like if having 13 activations on Pathfinders was a little too much, considering especially what the more recent releases have looked like, and what I would imagine what they would ideally like for the power level of some of these teams. Pathfinders with 13 operatives was just a bit much. They haven't been like killing it lately, but I think they're still very, very good. And I think even after this 12 or this 1 less operative nerf, they're still probably fine. So yeah, let's move down. Okay, some Phobos buffs. Phobos have been getting buffed a few times now. Okay, so the Deadly Shots ploy. They already had this. Oh, so they removed the thing that says you have to, like, if you haven't moved, you get the buff, I believe it is. Now you get the buff regardless. So that's really helpful for them. It's really kind of a bummer playing against elite teams with Phobos. And having this ploy with less, qualifiers attached to it is probably going to be a huge help. For Reavers, the terror action is 0 AP. That's really good. That's related to one of their attack ops, which they're probably going to get a bit more out of now. Well, actually, no, it's not related. I believe it's multi-use, maybe. I'm forgetting. It's been a while since I've played Phobos, if you can't tell. But the incursors, they just straight up, the target cannot be obscured from incursors anymore. So before it was like 2 circle from heavy terrain that the cover line crosses in order to be obscured instead of 1 circle. But now they're just not obscured. So that's actually really cool. That's a pretty big change. I haven't played enough Phobos to know how much the old rule was coming into play. But the fact that this is something that's getting changed tells me it probably wasn't as significant as they wanted it to be. So, all right. And then guerrilla warfare and leaders strategize actions. Change distance requirement to 3 inches instead of 6 inches. Okay. All right. Well, again, I don't play a lot of Phobos, so I don't have a ton of thoughts on this. But this is a team that's struggling big time, and I think they're going to appreciate these changes overall. I don't know if it's going to make them competitive. We'll have to wait and see. This is a big thing for them playing against other elite teams, and I think it's something that they kind of need. So, all right. Let's go to Hunter Glade. Hunter Glade. They've been kind of flavor of the month lately, ever since their buffs, which were debatably probably too much. Let's see, though. Operative selection. Your kill team cannot include more Sicarian operatives than it does Ranger and Vanguard operatives combined, but it can include the same. Okay, so you can't have... Okay, well, was that ever happening? Because you had 5 Sicarians now, and then you have 6 Skitari. I don't know. And then if your kill team includes no more than 4 Sicarian operatives, it can include 1 additional Ranger or Vanguard operative. Okay. So, that's the change. So basically, if you want to have 11 guys, you can't have more than 4 Sicarians. So you can still have 5 Sicarians, but then you drop a body from 11 to 10. So this is actually a really interesting thing. Okay. So there's actually a little bit of list building here. So sometimes you're actually going to be willing to maybe drop a body down to 10 activations just so you can have 5 Sicarians. I think that might be what we see rather than having, you know, the 4 Sicarians and then the 7 other guys, the little dudes running around. Because I don't think I think it's probably worth dropping a body to get 5 Sicarians, but I mean, time will tell. Either way, this is a really good nerf. It was pretty silly that they had 11 bodies with 5 Sicarians. Compared to some other teams out there, it just felt pretty oppressive. And honestly, this nerf makes me feel better about the Pathfinder nerf, because I think what would have happened, and this is sheer speculation, and this might still happen anyway, but I think what would have happened is if we saw Hunter Clade nerfed and Pathfinder's not nerfed, we probably would have just gone back to where we were a few months back, before the Hunter Clade buffs, when Pathfinders were like the #1 team. So nerfing both of them at the same time and getting it out of the way tells me, okay, the meta is a little more wide open now. We don't necessarily know exactly what it's going to look like. Maybe Pathfinders are still good enough. I mean, I think they probably are. Hunter Clade, this is definitely a nice hit to Hunter Clade. I don't know if it's going to... I don't think it's going to kill them. I was of the opinion before the buffs that they were a fine team. They were probably on the lower end just because of what the teams were at the time, but what's come out since then, I think Hunter Clade, pre the original buffs, it was probably a middle of the pack team now. So I mean, this is still better than that. They're still going to be good. I'm going to say that they're still good. All right, so Void Dancer's got to change. What? Domino Field 1+ CP. Okay, so basically Domino Field costs 1 point, 1 CP still, but it costs an extra CP every additional time you use it. Okay, so here's my thoughts on this. Because Void Dancers are not a team that are like crushing right now competitively, but they are still a very good team in mid-table and like lower table especially. So I think this nerf is probably targeted towards mid and lower table, I would imagine. Especially because I think at top levels, you don't see Domino Field getting used more than a couple times, maybe tops. So while it is a nerf to all Void Dancer players, I don't think this is like a huge hit to them at the top level. And this is probably just hurting like the mid tables. So that's fine with me. They were still very good at mid tables, and they're going to continue to be fine there. So not a big deal. Nothing to Warp Coven. Okay, Gellerpox. This is what people were looking for. Another one of the big scaries right now. Techno Curse distance requirement is reduced to circle and square for glitchling operatives. Okay. So so for the big guys, the Techno Curse, it's really only going to be coming up when you're hugging that heavy cover and you're concealed and they're running up and taking away your cover. So I guess it's still a good ability. It's definitely not as impactful. The big thing is the glitchlings it has to be within 3, so they don't just pop a door open and like become a huge problem. This is a big nerf. It remains to be seen how big of a nerf it's going to be. The Gellerpox players need to test, but this is a big nerf. Revoltingly Resilient Glitchling and Gellerpox mutant operatives ignore lost. Okay, so it's a 6-up Feel No Pain instead of a 5-up for these two. Wow. Okay. Um, so Glitchling's getting double hit here. I think the Gellerpox mutants are like still okay. They still reduce damage because of their, I forget the name of the ability, like the Geller cost mask or whatever. Um, but Glitchlings are definitely a lot less annoying than they were before. This is probably a good change. It remains to be seen if Gellerpox are still going to be a competitive force like the way they were. Um, I mean, we haven't really had a team like this before that was this good. So this is like kind of new territory here for the balancing team. We'll see if it works out. Star Strider buffs. Okay, this is super cool. Privateer support assets include improve all ballistic skill characteristics by 1. That's a really big change. Yeah. Okay. So your AP2 like 6-7 damage weapon is now hitting on 3s instead of 4s. That's humongous. Your blast 3 2 3 5 shots is hitting on 3s now instead of 4s. Your blast 2, like I think damage like 3 4 3 5 is hitting on 3s now. 5 shots. That's really good. And you couldn't modify this, like you couldn't reroll these except for command point rerolls. And now with the crit ops pack where you're getting more CP, I think this is like really really big. Yeah, we'll see. That's a huge change. Okay. Electromeister, Voltgeist Field, and Voltgeist Charge actions 0 AP. Okay, that's super cool as well because the Electromeister, he does free mission actions as well. So you can kind of like move up, do the Voltgeist Field or the Voltgeist Charge, like do a mission action, do that for free, you know, shoot something all in one activation. And this operative actually has a faction specific tac op tied to it for the Elucidian Star Strider. So I think having like having this model be a little more relevant and a little bit better is probably important for this team. That it needs to be kind of good, because there are going to be scenarios where you might want to consider tying this character, this operative, to your scoring for the game. So I like this change. And then the Voidsman's Rotor Cannon gets Relentless. That's awesome. That's just good. Okay, so Star Striders went huge. These are 3 really big buffs. Sorry. I don't know if this brings them into relevancy, but these are big, noticeable buffs. Okay, let's go down. Season 2. Ooh, baby. Croup buffs. We're here for the croup buffs. Okay. Wow, this is a lot. So I'm a Kroot enthusiast. I love the Firestalker Kinman. I'm a big fan. These already I'm seeing way more changes than what I even asked for. So this is exciting. Okay, so operative selection, they can take 1 additional. This is awesome because they get 11 before. And first of all, I don't know why they only got 11. 12 seemed appropriate for them. And the kit came with 12. So there's like, this actually isn't a problem for anybody to like accommodate for, which is cool. What it's usually going to mean is you're going to have 2 dogs instead of 1. Or if you were already taking 2 dogs, now you get an extra warrior with like a shotgun. The Bow Hunter's Accelerator Bow, improved ballistic skill. Oh, thank you, goodness. So these 2 things that at the top are the things that I had on my wish list for Firestalkers. The Bow Hunter there's no reason that guy should have been hitting on 4s. He was very swingy, very like, I don't know, unreliable. And this is supposed to be one of your ranged specialists. And basically coin flipping just to like do damage didn't feel good. So hitting on 3s, that's amazing. I absolutely love it. The Pistolier's ballistic skill has improved by 1 as well. I don't even know if they needed that. I mean, the thing about the Pistolier is that it had balanced in Lethal 5. So it's like you had a little bit of dice reliability now. It still was kind of underwhelming at times. It's going to be really nice that because if you take a piercing shot with the Pistolier, you would actually, technically rules as written, lose balanced in Lethal 5, which sucked. So you'd be like coin flipping, hitting on 4s without balanced. But hitting on 3s, that helps it a lot. It's kind of a bit more of a threat now. I think that's good. This wasn't like a bad operative, but it was pretty like average. Now I think it's good. Whereas the bow hunter was bad, and now I think it's good. Long sight hunting rifle. Okay, so their sniper hits on 2s. This is in line. This should have been this way to begin with. I don't know why it was hitting on 3s. Just seemed really weird to me. This is a good change. Cutthroats to a maximum of 5. This isn't a huge change. This basically means that your cut skin and your doggies are getting 5 attacks when Cutthroats is online instead of 4. This doesn't move the needle too much for me as a group player. I would have rather kept the limit of 4, but like made it so the leader and like the stalker get 4 attacks base without needing this ploy. And then if you want to like have a team wide 4 attacks, you could use Cutthroats. But I mean, not going to complain. This is still solid. It's nice to see the ceiling raise on a couple of the melee models. Change the equipment point of equipment as follows. Meat is now 1. Meat's back in the menu, boys. So the nice thing about this is meat was 3 equipment points before, and you never took it, ever. It was never worth taking. At 1 EP, you could actually consider this, tacking it on the end if you have an equipment point left. And then trophy at 3. Ooh. Okay, so trophy was debatably worth... not even debatably. I think trophy was like an auto take, at least for 1 trophy, back when it was 4 equipment points. Now that it's 3, I'm going to be looking at maybe taking 2 of these things. It's basically just like a free comms buff. I'm a huge fan of that. That's huge. The rogue ability... the no cover special roll has no effect. Okay, so if you're in cover, things hitting you with no cover aren't getting rid of your whole like special faction ability, which is awesome. I really like that. Yeah, I mean, all in all, these are humongous crew changes. I have a feeling some people are going to speculate whether it's too much. I don't think it is. So here's where I come from. The Hunter Clade changes when we buffed them the last time. I think Hunter Clade pre-buff was in a better spot than Farstalker Kinband was pre-buff. And I think the changes to Hunter Clade when we buffed them were more significant than these Farstalker buffs. So I think it's actually probably not too big of a deal. Maybe I'll be proven wrong and the Farstalkers are just like the top team now. I don't think so. But I think this takes them to a competitive level, which is really exciting for me because I do feel like they really struggled in a lot of areas before this. And I cannot wait to play these guys with some like functioning bow hunter and 12 operatives. Super exciting. And then Hierotech Circle, who is probably the worst team they've ever released outside of Compendium. So let's see what they gave them. Reanimation protocols, resolve before living metal. This should have been this way to begin with. Like the Compendium version is like this. I don't know why this one isn't. So now they reanimate and then they get healed from living metal. So that's pretty great. On top of the heal they get from reanimating, which I believe is a D3. Cryptech Operative, add 2 to wounds characteristic, and improve ballistic skill of ranged weapons by 1. Okay. So their ranged weapons before this were hitting on, I want to say 4s. So hitting on 3s now, it's a lot more like reliable as like an actual ranged threat rather than just being a support piece. It's meant to be a support piece, but I think giving it this little extra punch is like a really big thing for Hierotech Circle. And I like that. And then the extra wounds don't hurt. 2 extra wounds is nice. The command action is now 0 action points. That's pretty cool. That's actually really nice. So not only are your guys hitting a little bit harder, their shooting is a little more reliable, but they're going to have the action points to do that shooting a little bit more often because the command action is now free. Okay, super like that. So you can like move, dash, command, shoot, and that's pretty good in my opinion. Commence reanimation tactical ploy is now 0 command points. Cool. I think that's a good change. They need that. And then Phase Oculars is now 0 AP. So the Phase Oculars was, I think it was the Death Mark equipment that gave them like a crit rule. I cannot remember off the top of my head what it was. But Super good though. I know these are all changes that people were kind of hoping for. I don't know if this is going to take Hyrotech Circle to a competitive place quite yet, but it's going to take them to a usable place. Like a good player, I think, can now do work with them. It might not be at a level yet where a like pure equal skill, like the Hyrotech player has an advantage. At best, I think you just have the tools now to make better plays. So that's pretty much it. As far as the biggest winner, I mean, probably Farstalker. So, I mean, with Hunterclade and Gellerpox and Pathfinders all getting nerfed at the same time, this helps elite teams a lot. So, Legionnaires and Intercession are probably huge winners here. But like Farstalker, on top of getting these actual buffs, they're actually pretty solid against elite teams already. So, if elite teams are more frequent in the meta, then I think that's a good thing for Farstalkers. I mean, I think Starstriders too. I mean, less changes, but these changes are significant, especially the privateer support assets. I'm really excited to see what people can do with this team. I know Ace took them to 5th at a big event in London recently. We still haven't really seen any podiums from Starstriders, but I'm excited to see what people can come up with the team. And yeah, overall, really good data slate. Huge fan. I hope you guys are enjoying the 12 Days of Kill Team series. By the way, it's the feedback has been excellent, and I'm just really thrilled that people are enjoying it. Special shout out, as always, to our subscribers, and special shout out to everybody over at patreon.com/commandpoint. We're using that to keep the lights on around here. So of course, and our YouTube membership members as well. You guys rock. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Go play some Crew. Actually, don't, because I want to be special. I want to be the only Crew player. Play some Starstriders. And Merry Christmas.